Good evening. Oh, my phone is on. Good evening, everybody. It is Saturday night. Very unusual night for us to be alive. And with everything going on in the world, that horrible band of storms and tornadoes. Living in a tornado state and seeing the devastation firsthand, my heart goes out to all you in the path of this tornado or this set of storms that just happened. Also, I just wanted to update you on the puppies. 11 puppies. Hey, Jen. All 11 puppies are doing fantastic. And Mama's doing great. She takes the puppies and puts a couple over here, a couple over here, and a couple over there, and then pulls a couple in to feed, moves them out, pulls a couple in. So she is moving them around and rotating them in to eat. They are doing fantastic. She's such a good little mama. Hey Jen, hey Carla, who else is on here? Leslie, Peggy, Teresa, Kristen, Catherine. I'm not expecting a whole lot of people tonight. I'm expecting a lot of people are going to be spending this with their families in the wake of those storms and devastation. We have a lot of members in our groups that are in those states that were affected. So yes, please be with your families, be safe, and this live will be here. I did go ahead and come on to do this live tonight because, as you know, I will be out of state next week, hopefully for the last time. And then we have Christmas. We will not do live for Christmas. We are actually, I think we're going to actually shut down for probably the next several weeks until the first of the year. We need a little downtime. You all need a little family time. It's Christmas. It's the holidays. So we will send out notices if we're going to do that. Website will be up and running. You can always place orders, but we will not start filling them until after the first of the year, after next week, I believe. So we'll let you know more on that. And we also have to kind of take a step back, go through all of our inventory of materials, of up and coming projects, up and coming products, and get those organized for the first of the year. So again, we'll probably take a few days, a few weeks off and do that. So anyway, just wanted to let you know about that. Did you see that up in the top corner? I thought I saw something up there. Let's see, membership expires. Barbara, that would be something that I would have to go look up. You can message me please on that one. This group is not the paid group, so message me, private message me, or send me an email on that, and I'll be happy to find that answer for you. Was that Mr. Wilson peeking in on us? That boy's itching to get on the camera, isn't he? Okay, so tonight, in this group, in the public group, I've again had lots and lots of questions on the differences between the forms and the dual drapes. So tonight I'm using the egg shape. It's a newer shape, but it's been out for a little bit. And I'm going to show you three different things to make with the exact same form in that exact same egg shape with that dual drape form. 3 completely different looks with one form. And when I say different looks, I mean different looks. There is the very last one that I'm doing is not ever been done before by me, or that I've seen. And I don't think, other than the style forms we create or these dual drape forms, outside of these, I don't think it would even work any other way. So that'll be a big surprise for you. And let's see. Yep, it was Mr. Wilson peeking in. He loves it. He loves it. Huh? Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into this first video because there's 4 or 5 videos tonight. Again, I wanted to make sure I went live tonight because we'll be gone from lives probably now till after the first of the year. Who's asking, can we see him? Well, he was up in the corner a minute ago. Just do the replay. Up in the corner, you'll see him. Oh, look he's peeking in. You can't even imagine the fun during the week at our house. But you have to, because we work so many hours and can't find anybody to help. So anyway, again, this will probably be the last live till after the first of the year, but I will be putting little how-to videos out here in the group at random so that you still get product demos and things like that. So keep an eye out on that, and maybe what we might do is just put them out on each Thursday during our lifetime, or at least a bigger one each Thursday on our lifetime. Can we review Leslie, the demos that I do in this group, my dear, the replays are always here. When you come into the group, if you at the top pick, I don't know what yours says, whether it's featured or it's different. It could say featured, it could say pinned, but up at the top, you click on that and it will scroll through and you can see all the live events. They stay here. So that works. Jen, if you lived near me, I could certainly pay you in puppy kisses. And we have almost a dozen puppies in the house. Yes, they are in the house. They're always born in the house, and by the time they go home to their new homes, they're doggy door trained. They know how to go outside and do their little business and come back inside. They're fully eating food. They're fully doggy door trained, and everything. So there you have that. Let's see. Rhonda, I wish you lived close. You know, I wish y'all lived closer. We are trying to figure out how soon we could actually open the studio back up and do classes, and every time we think we're getting close, then another strain of COVID comes out, and then we're not sure. So I wished everybody lived closer, because I want to start having people back into the studio, having studio days where you come in and play in the studio, just use the equipment and have a good time, come in for demos, classes, and all that kind of stuff. We are ready to get life back on the road. So with that, let's go to our very first video for the night. Well, let's start making. So what I'm going to show you is how to take these dual drapes, and I'm going to show you how this form can be used as straight sides, has angled sides, as deep sides, as all kinds of things. One form does it all. This is the highest quality exterior grade you can get in this particular material. It is very mold resistant. It's very dense. It's very chip resistant and very water resistant. It doesn't swell up and get out of shape. And then I also have a template, so you can use them with or without templates, and I'm going to show you all kinds of ways to use these. These happen to be our new egg shape. Well, they've been out a while, but you know, Easter's in a few months, so eggs. And then I actually used the little one as a wing. I don't have my birds in here. Oh, I think I do. Hold on. No, I don't have the birds in here, but on my birdie form, I use this as a wing, and oh, it made a cute dish. So very versatile. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is switch over to the overhead camera, where you can see the overhead and me. So let me go over here and here, and then switch it. I like to be in the little circle in the top corner and the center of the top corner out of the way. All right, so today since I'm working with the egg shape, I actually am using Laguna Speckled Buff, because I thought when this fired and it was a little more creamy color with the little speckles, I thought as an egg it would be really cute. So I decided to change clays today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yellow mud tool rib. I should know this number by now, but I never think about it unless I'm doing this. It's a 3. And I'm simply going to compress my clay in all directions, all over. Take your time doing this and really compress this clay. It will really help the warping, the cracking, all of the above. So I just kind of go around, get all of it really good. And then I'm going to flip it over very carefully, move this up where you can see it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Oh, that was a short video. And it was because I surprised myself just now. I wasn't expecting to be back on camera. I did do a short video first just because I wanted to check the sound after last week, because there was sound in our last video, but after I got up here, I'd hit a button and knocked the sound off. So I didn't really have to talk it through last week. So today I was being proactive and testing. So let's go on. Oh, Jen has a question. What do you fire this clay to? Cone 6? No, we actually fire to cone 5 with a 10-minute hold when I use this clay. But you could, it is a 5-6 cone clay, so you could go up to cone 6. So let's go back to the next video where I pick up where I left off. Okay, now I'm just going to compress this other side and take my time on that, get it all over, all around. You do this every time you make something, every time. Okay, clean that off. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, in addition to this, how to use this on our banding wheel system. This does not seem like it's on good enough. Let me pull this closer. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. Can you hear me better now? All right, so what I want to do is also show you how to use our banding wheel system with these and with a press plate. So what I'm going to do is I would need, if I wanted to use this on the banding wheel assist system, what I would do is I would want this on the bottom, and then I'm going to have a form on the top, deciding, do I want this one, which is only going to give me a little bitty rim, or do I want to come down like this, get a bigger rim, and have room to give myself that angle? So I'm going to choose this one. Now, in doing that, you have to remember that you're going to need enough clay so that it will drape over all of this and reach the bottom. So what I'm going to do is, I think if I move this here, let's see if I can get enough out of this. Ooh, nope, probably can't. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply use most of this. Where did I put my rib? I'm going to clean up the mess that I just made with putting my template and forms on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut some of this off just so I don't have so much in my way. And I'm going to set this aside in case I decide I want to do a foot or something. Just to make this even, I'm going to cut these edges off. But you don't have to do that. Okay. Now, what I want to do is move this out of my way for just a second. I'm going to lift this up and set that onto a board and move it aside for a minute. And I'm going to bring my banding wheel, and in this case I just have the round board with the peg in it. I don't need the insert because this one I'm not trying to mix and match products here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my egg on, or my rim template on here, and I want the brown side up because that's the side the clay is going to go on, and the clay releases better from the brown side. The black side is not wrong. It will release, it just takes a little longer. If you're going to glaze the top of your clay and wait for it to dry, in that case you might want to use the black side so the clay's on the black side and won't suck out all the moisture while you're waiting for the glaze on top. So I'm going to go this way and I'm going to put my egg on here. And I'm going to line this up. And this keeps it from sliding off on me. That's really all it is. So, there's a piece of clay. So, if you don't have this and you just want the templates in the form, that's totally fine too. You could just set them on your table or on a banding wheel. You just have to be a little careful that you don't slide. But they work perfectly fine on their own. So, don't let that stop you. If you have the GR Pottery wah system, they have the round hole. I had one somewhere with the peg in it. Those, if you have our system, that will go in the middle of that. If you have his system, you don't have to buy a whole new one. We sell the round circle with our thicker peg, so that it will work with his system. The little round circle with the peg is only like $4.99. Get you that, then you can use his system with his templates or forms and just fit the circle inside, and the bigger, fatter pegs will work with our system. Our peg is fatter and longer because our templates are thicker. They're a whole 1/4 inch thick. So they need to be the pegs need to be thicker. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my clay over, and I'm not texturing or anything because I have some really fun glazing that's going to come up with this. This little dark black right here, that got a little dark on my machine. It's still there. It just had a dark shadow, makes it look like it's sunken in. It's really not. It's really the same length. It's just one of those illusions, which is why I'm using this one. I wouldn't sell that when I got it dark. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully grab my clay and set it up over the top of this and make sure I have enough to go all the way around. And I'm just going to lightly press this. Okay, this one has the form or the rim template under there. So what I'm going to do, set those on my, I'm going to take my red mud tool rib, which is a 0, and I'm going to very carefully go around these sides. And I'm not going to press down very hard. I'm just going to pull it in just a little bit because I want it to have that 45-degree angle. So I'm not pressing it into the sides very hard. Just, can you see how that's kind of in there? I'm sliding the whole thing. So I'm not pressing hard because I want it to have that angle. Now I'm going to take my yellow rib and go across the top because I want to make sure this top is pressed down so I have a flat bottom and less likely to warp. So now you see, you see that egg. I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to wring it so it's not wet. You couldn't even probably wring drops out of it. And I'm just going to lightly go around, get anything off of there that might have gotten on. And gosh, I don't know why I'm having a difficult time. Okay, now if you want to go just a little more, I think I want this just a little more of an angle. I'm going to come back around here, and I'm using the belly of this red rib, which is going to give it like the little swoop belly in here. And I'm not pressing it all the way up. There we go. That's better. I do like that angle just a little bit better. And the other thing is these forms are not sharp on the edge. They're very rounded. So in the bottom of your dish, it's very rounded. It's not got a sharp line. If you wanted a sharp line instead of a round line, put it this side up. You just wouldn't be using the peg. And then you're going to get a sharp line. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle tool. This one has a little burr on the end of it. I don't know where my other one is, so we'll use this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come around this edge, find this template. Where's my template? Oh, it's way in there. Okay, my template is way in here. I'm going to come around and find this template. See how I'm just taking my rib around here so that I can actually get a feel for where that template is. And that also lets me see my angle and decide, hey, do I want this just a little more angled? Maybe I do. So I can come around and make it just a little more angled. But see, now you can see that rim in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to use my knife and I'm going to come around here and I'm going to cut off all this excess to start with, just to get it out of my way. Just to get this out of my way. Okay, now I got a little more manageable piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my needle tool. I'm going to kind of rest my finger or my knuckle on here. And I'm just going to slowly come around this template. No need to be in a big rush. This one is scalloped, so you want to take your time with this. I want my needle tool to stay straight up and down. Just keep going around, find those scallops. Because this template is a 1/4 inch thick, this needle tool rides around here really well. If you start getting a clay buildup on your needle tool, come to the center of a hump. and you can pull this off, and then you can go back in, but you don't want to do that in an inset because that's a good place to start a crack. Move this out of my way. That's a good place to start a crack. So be sure you do it at the top of a scallop. And I'm going to just keep riding around, keeping my needle tool straight up and down. And I'm not pressing hard with my hand here, but my knuckle right here is riding on this clay, because that helps me from slipping a petal. There. Look at how pretty. Excuse me. Goodness. All right. So that easily, we have the beginnings of a dish. And so I'm wringing out my sponge again, and I'm coming around here and just coming around these edges, get all that clay crumb off there. If you see any spots that you think, oh, that might crack, you can go in with your finger. You could also just sit here and go in with your finger on every single one if you want to accent that indent. Oh, there's a mouthful. Accent the indent. But that just depends on how big you want your scallops. All right. So that looks pretty good. I think I want to just, I can see my knuckle marks a little bit in there, so I'm going to come back around with my rib and rib out my knuckle marks. Because I say do it lightly, and I do it hard enough to get knuckle marks, but that's okay. This lets you see how easy it is to take these right out. Okay, now we can put a foot on this. At this point, I am not going to. I'm just going to leave it like this. I can see the angle at which this is. If I wanted it deeper, I could even come and make it deeper even at this point of the game. So you can adjust your angle anytime you would like. That just made it a little deeper. So if I did that, I would want to just go around this. I saw some crumbs on here. I want to go around this just one more time and around this edge one more time. But that is one use of this form. Angled with a template, draped over. If you would have textured this with this clay, you would want the texture on the underside so it's up in your bowl. Maybe you want it on the outside so that it's on the bottom. Maybe you want it on both sides. You could actually, if you had nothing on the inside, you could roll the outside right now. But I'm not going to do that at this point, but you could have. And I think, I'm afraid if I push this, if I push that in, it's going to mess this up. So I'm going to leave this just like this. And this is way number 1 of using this form. Let me stop this. Okay, that's the first way, with that single form, with a template and creating your own angle, whatever degree you want it to be. So I am going to quickly say hi to some people who have just jumped in. We've got Deanne, Diane, Nancy Jean, Penny Foreman, Rachel, and Sue, and Anne. We've got a bunch of people that just joined in. But think, okay, so with that rim template, just think of the coming in the not so near future, Easter. Those would make gorgeous little Easter dishes. And just think of all the different ways You could glaze those or texture those or stamp those or just to go crazy. Okay, so we're gonna go to way number 2. And let me tell you, the third way is something you've not seen before that I know of, that I have seen. But that doesn't mean it's not out there. Okay, so way number 2 is gonna be the minimalist look. Oh, by the way, on that number 1, I ended up going back while I was sitting there waiting for things to dry and decided to go ahead and stick a foot on there because I decided it was just so pretty it really needed a foot. So I did go ahead and stick a foot on that one. All right, way number 2. Number 2. Okay, we are back for another way to use this same form. This is the form that was inside that other dish we made. I had to let it set up so that I could get the form out. It came right out and you could barely even see any clay on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take the next size up to use as a template here. And now watch how much easier this is because there's no scallops. I'm just going to come around here and come around here, bring this out, bring this over, and I have a perfect egg. A perfect egg. Just going to go around the edges. Just to let you know, this clay does turn colors. I had already, since I did in the first video, compress and everything, I already did that for you here. So I'm just going to go around these edges. I could come around with my finger like that as well. I could very carefully flip that over and do the other side. Go around with my finger, make sure your finger stays wet and doesn't drag. See how pretty that makes that edge? Gorgeous edge. All right, now for this one, I'm just gonna carefully pick that up and set it right on top of that egg. Move this out of the way because this one I'm going to press this time into foam. This is a piece of foam out of a couch cushion. You can get foam at your craft stores. But I'm going to take and I'm going to lay my piece of clay on here. Now what I like to do is put it on a piece of craft foam because then it doesn't get this bumpy stuff on it. So I'm going to grab my craft foam real quick here. Let me close this out. Grab my craft foam. Okay, I could grab myself a piece of craft foam and it does several things for me. When I press, it doesn't get this texture. Also, when I press, I can then slide my hand underneath this to pick it up. Whoops, to flip it over. And wouldn't be a tutorial if I didn't stick my fingers in it. I try not to sponge this speckled buff because it is a little on the groggy side. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. I'm going to scoot this down so I can see. Actually, I can look at my camera and see pretty much the middle. And I'm just going to press this down. Now, I can't press that good from up here, but I'm going to press this down and flip it over. And move this out of my way. Grab my banding wheel back. And I'm actually going to set this on top of another form just so I can get my fingers around here to press this in, because this clay will be a little taller than the form, and this time I'm doing that minimalist look. So I'm just kind of pressing this in, and I want my fingers to kind of go under so that I can get this pressed in good. Now I had some marks on that craft foam, and I do see them in here, so I'm going to take this out. Now I'm going to go around the edges squeezing with my red rib. Just like that. And very, very gently wipe off that little crumb. Okay, now I'm going to show you. I wouldn't normally flip this right now, but let me show you that if I flip this right now, see I have some clay up and over those edges, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit, and then I'll flip it over, and then I will take my craft knife, lay it on the top, and just go right around and trim that so that it's level. But that is another way of using this same form, and it's going to give you a totally different look. So I'm going to go let this one dry. Okay, that was way number 2. Same form, totally different look. What I try to do is make them super versatile so you can get many different things out of one different product and not have to buy a different product for everything. So we have some more people that have joined us. We've got Carla, Sue, Mary, Catherine, Claire, Anne. We got a lot more people that have joined us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this next video. Where are we at? 6:06. Oh, we don't have that much time left. Okay, so I'm going to go to this next video, show you the third way. This one's totally different. You've not seen this with my products before, and I really want to know what you think of this. You have to finesse this a little bit, but it's really cool. And then the last video is going to show you all 3 side by side, a view of all of the 3 different looks that you get from that same single form. So let me go to this next video. Who is up in the corner? What is that? Wow. There's something up in this. Somebody's face was up in the corner. There was somebody in my computer. There was somebody's face up in the corner of that computer. No, I'm serious. That was really strange. Okay, sorry guys. But a face came up in my computer. I have to check that out. Okay, I'm going to go to the next video. Which one is it? This one. Okay. Now we're going to have a special little treat. I'm actually going to put the template on here. I am going to put the egg, the big egg, on here. And I think I have my hole slightly off so it's not dead center. Maybe if I go, oh, there we go. Go that way. That's better. Now, I'm going to set this egg on here, and I'm going to set this egg, whoops, oh, that's not the egg. I'm just going to set it like this. Now, I'm going to have to be very careful here. In fact, maybe, let's do this. Let me wet this just a little. See if that'll sit here. I'm just going to do because I have no sharp edges on either of these, and this doesn't come down at an angle to poke into my clay, I'm going to do a bowl in a bowl. A bowl in a bowl. But I'm going to have to be extremely cautious. So, here's my clay. I want to make sure I have enough clay to drape down this whole thing. That's a little scarily short. Ah, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is press this down with my hands very gently just to get it down. Looks like I have some blue glaze on here. Just get this down here like this. I'm gonna hold fast here because I don't want this to slide. And I'm gonna come around with my red rib, and again, I'm holding this down so it doesn't slide. And I just want a fun angle on that. I don't want it sharp up against the side. Now I'm going to come around the bottom one. Just come around here. I kind of whoop off until I get it going good, and then I'll come around the whole thing. And I keep this kind of bent and come around this because I want it to kind of pick up this rounded corner on the top of both of them. I'm going to come around and get this rounded corner. No sharp lines to poke into my bowl. So I'm just going to come around here. Like this. And then I'm going to find my template. It's in here somewhere. I don't know how far in it is. I think I'm going to take and cut some of this off just to get in closer to my template. There we go. Just to get a little closer. Now I'm going to come down here and I'm really going to kind of press and find my template. Now I'm going to find it anyway, but this way it kind of helps me cement it in so this isn't going to move. I'm going to clean this off just a little bit. Now, when this is wet, you can also come around and kind of smooth this. It smooths it so good that way. Look at this. Smooths those crumbs right off. Now, I am going to wipe it. I did get it a little wet. My rib was a little wetter than I thought. Again, I'm constantly keeping my hands on this to hold this because I don't want this sliding. It's like a two-tier bowl here. There we go. All right, see how that whoop, whoop. All right, let me get my needle tool. Now I'm going to be very, very careful about not sliding this around. So I'm going to come in, find my template, and very easily go around it. I'm going to go slow on this one because I don't want to mess this up. Put too much work into this one to mess this up. See how this gorgeous scallop is? I love this scallop. The inserts aren't too deep to give you cracks. There. All right, now I'm going to take this off. There we go. Move that out of the way. And I'm going to hold down and I'm going to come around and just sponge around this edge. Okay, let me show you what it looks like from the side. A 2-tier bowl. Now, again, at this point, you can look at this and say, hey, I want this a little sharper, so you can go around it a little more, and then you can say, hey, I want this a little sharper, so I'm going to go around this again. Be careful going around your scallops. You want to get those little crumbs back off of there. And we're going to go let this set up. And then we will unveil the double-decker. And actually, you could put, let me make sure this is flat. You could actually put a foot on this. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just stick a foot on this. Do I have clay over here? I have a piece of clay right here. Let me create a foot with this. Okay, I sped up through that because you guys have seen a foot and we are going to run out of time, but I wanted you to see these unveiled. These three totally different looks from the same form. So here we go on the last video. Okay, I have the minimalist one. It is probably not quite firm enough, but good enough for what we're going to do. I'm going to take my sponge and just go around underneath the bottom while it's still in the form and kind of smooth that out. I did not put a foot on this one. Now I'm going to take a template. This is probably a little wet, and if pull this slightly out where I can grip this, whoa, and see how that comes right out. And look at this. This is, and it could be any of our shapes. This one just happens to be an egg, which is, wet my fingers, kind of round that a little bit because I had a flat spot. Okay. Here's that minimalist look. How's that? Oop, stick your finger in it. See the sides? So what I do is kind of pop that so it's flat in there. And I would probably put something like that in there and go lay it over, and in a couple hours I'd throw a light piece of plastic, and that's the minimalist look with this form. Whoops. With this form. That's one look. Okay, I went and got, forgot to show you this one that we did. I'm gonna flip this over. I took the template off already because I had to use it a minute ago. So let me put that down. So here's the one with the template, and let me pull this form out. And so there you have the angle. Now I'm going to come around these outside edges. Clean this up a little bit. See anything at all you think could crack, rub it with your finger. Go around. And look at this. You know, my heart is breaking for all those tornado victims living here in Texas. we truly understand. Okay, so here is this. This is the difference. Exact same form. No template, straight up minimalist look. Whoa, come back here. Template, we created our own angle, that 45-degree angle. Can you see that? You could actually lay it down more or stand it up more, depending on what you wanted to do. Both of these from one form. So, now we do have this in the angled form if you do really like that. Ours have a little drop edge so they don't poke on the bottom that when they come out to a sharp point. But you could do it both with one form. So save yourself some money. And here is two totally different looks with one form. All right, so let me go get the third one. Okay, here is that third double-decker beauty that we created. Got a little bit of a booger in my foot that I want to fix. There we go. Look at that. Woo! Okay, so what I want to do with this one is I'm going to use, I guess I'll just use this. I'm going to flip this sandwich over. I'm going to pull this off. That's got the peg. Now I want to kind of wiggle this template a little bit. Ooh, pop it off. And there is the egg with the scallops. And the beauty is going to lie underneath there. So I'm going to come around while I have this still in place and very lightly get these little clay goobery things off. If you see anything that looks like it could down the road become a crack, just wet your finger and kind of work it in. I don't see any really, but I'm just doing this to show you. Okay, now this is kind of soft, but I needed to show you this. And the trick is learning when to do it to get your form out. If the clay's too wet, the form won't pop. If the clay's too dry, you could crack it. So you got to find that happy medium. And then, whoa, there's that part. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to come in here, and if there's any clay boogery, goobery thingies, kind of wipe that off. But look at that beautiful rounded edge in there. Now let me see if I can get down here and get this one out. Gonna rock it just a little bit. Oh, there it popped. And look at this. This is a rounded double-decker. I stuck my finger in it a little bit. But look at that. Now, I don't know if you can tell the depth of this. See if I can get it on its side. Can you see how deep that dish is? And it just like rounds perfectly. Just perfectly. So that is three different things with just this same single form. And you saw me pull that out, and look at how clean that form is actually. And of course the top one is clean because it really didn't touch much but this inside edge. But this, wait till we do some fancy schmancy glazing on this. So I didn't want to put any, whoops, it's too wet. Put any texture on this. Wait till we glaze this. Anyway, there you have it. Thank you for another Thursday evening. We will see you next live, which will not be next week. I will be in North Carolina bringing my mama home. So it isn't Thursday. It's Saturday. Anyway, so what do you think of that little tier dish? Now, in the camera, it looks like it looks like it's kind of flat, but it's not. It comes up and it curves up. It's got a beautiful profile to it. 3 totally different looks from one single little form. Well, that's a lie. 2 forms, because you had to use 2 of them, but 2 shapes, if you get what I mean. Anyway, Reese's peanut butter eggs. Oh, that's a good idea. Anyway, I do gotta go because we have our Slab to Fab Society Zoom call. We are glazing together where we can speak to each other, see each other, and everything. So for those of you in the Slab to Fab Society, let's get on over to the Zoom call. Bring your stuff to work on, or just come and chat and watch. Any way is fine. The rest of you guys, we'll put posts out. We'll put how-to videos out over the next few weeks, but we probably will not do an actual live till after the first of the year. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting us, and we will see you soon.